Welcome, everyone, to the fifth episode of Around the ATL on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. Very excited to be here again today. Thanks to those listening on the TuneIn app. Please don't forget to subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page where you can watch the live stream of every show. Today's show is brought to you by Southern Classic Transportation. Let's put that on the screen for everybody watching. If you are in Atlanta, they're the best car service in Atlanta. Make sure you contact Dennis at 404-291-0150 or visit southernclassiclimo.com to get in and around the city. Also, today's show is brought to you by IMTM Worldwide Images. If you need photos for anything, your business, your family, portfolios, if you're modeling, acting, things of that nature, make sure you visit imtmworldwideimages.com. I'll throw that on the screen right there. And also call 706-393-8426. Make sure you let both of them know Around the ATL sent you. Let's go ahead and bring in our co-host for today. He is Mr. Jordan Jackson. He is a longtime Atlanta sports fan, longtime sports writer who is traveling around Atlanta today. How are you doing today, Jordan? Jordan, we can't hear you, sir.
I'm doing well, sir. As always, glad to be on SportsVisions 92.1 and get a chance to talk about these Atlanta, these Georgia sports. As you all know, the Hawks are always one of my favorite topics to talk about, so I'm looking forward to getting into it today, sir.
Indeed. So today we have a special guest. Now, at the start of the beginning of the Atlanta Hawks season for 2024, we were able to get the face of the Atlanta Hawks on FanDuel, Hall of Fame play-by-play broadcaster Bob Rathman, to talk about the eventual 2024 season in detail. Today, we get to, in the halfway point of the season, get to talk to the voice of the Atlanta Hawks, Hall of Fame play-by-play broadcaster of the Atlanta Hawks on 92.9 The Game, 40 years, never missing a broadcast, and going for another 40, by the way. Steve Holman joins us. How you doing today, Steve?
Great, Chris. Thank you. I'll try for another 40.
I'm just trying to throw it in there. Also, by the way, I want to say you are the first guest for us on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. So again, thank you for taking the time out this afternoon, sir.
Oh, great. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I come on here every once in a while with DJ and the guys.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So we have a few questions for you today, Steve. So my first question today: Trae Young is third in NBA history in assists per game, third in 30-point, 10 assist games in NBA history. He's leading currently the league in clutch points, clutch assists, potential assists at 21 a game, points generated from assists, top three in total points generated and assists, first in assists per game and total assists. Why isn't Trae a perennial all-star every year, Steve?
That's a good question, because I think, definitely this year for sure he should have made it right away. There's no reason that he didn't make it, other than some coaches might be in their feelings a certain way, over the last several years about Trae. But there's no reason that he shouldn't have been in there as a starter. But the great news for him is, several years from now, people are going to say, well, he was in his fourth All-Star game. They're not going to say that he was, a substitute when somebody got hurt. It'll just go down in history as how many All-Star games he's had.
I agree with you completely on that. Jordan, I know you have a question, sir.
Yes, sir. Steve, Dyson Daniels is putting up steals numbers we have not seen since the likes of the great Michael Jeffrey Jordan, while also defending opponent's primary scorer. Talk a little bit about Dyson's impact on the team's defense and what his chances are of making all NBA defensive team first team.
Well, I think he's got a great chance at that. I mean, he leads the league in deflections. He leads the league in steals by a wide margin too. And percentage of steals, he's 3 a game. And, I would think that he would do that, but it's been fun to watch him all year. I mean, he has really come on, right from the beginning. He was stealing the ball. He was doing that kind of thing. But his offense has really started to come on, and I think Quinn has been a real reason for that. One thing that Quinn does with all these guys is that he makes sure that they shoot and don't be afraid to shoot. He's an analytics guy about the threes and the twos, and you can't argue with 3 is more than 2. I mean, no matter how you slice it, 3 points is better than 2 points, and that's the way Quinn looks at it. So he has got all of his guys, everybody on the floor, from Veet when he was out there before he broke his back, and everybody. He's just saying, shoot it. Maybe Clint, not so much, but everybody else would like to shoot it.
Oh, boy. So my second question to you, Steve, do you believe the Hawks, now I had a prediction October 2nd that the Hawks will be 6th in the East. Do you believe the Hawks can still finish 6th we now have a shooter in Niang, a defender in Mann, a shot maker in Karras, along with Dyson, potential defensive player of the year, or at least all defense, with Okongwu, Mohamed Gay, Risacher stepping up for the rest of the season with Trae leading them. Do you feel that they can still finish 6th and get out the play-in? Because I myself believe they can beat anybody in a 7-game series if they get the opportunity.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they can. And I still think, yes, they can be 6th again. And, thank God they made the trade that they made. I mean, because those guys in Orlando the other night went down. We lose 2 more guys, for 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer. Who knows? But the trade really has been terrific. And, a lot of people like to knock Landry and Kyle during the year about, not doing this or that or whatever. I think they pulled off a great deal there. I mean, DeAndre was having a great year. DeAndre was probably at the highest value that he was ever going to be at as a Hawk. And over the years, he's missed a lot of games with injuries. And so I think they saw an opportunity, not only to get a player, but they got 2 players back. Plus they got draft picks that they were able to turn around and use. So I think to get Terrence Mann too, along with the 2 guys from Cleveland, Karis LeVert and George Niang, I think that's all a bonus, really. And you've got 3 veteran guys that can step in. I mean, even the other night against the Knicks, lose by a point in a heartbreaker. I think the bench scoring was like 35-4 at one time. So I think it really bodes well for the last 25, 26 games that we've got. And they're only a couple of games out of 6th in the loss column right now. So I really think that, I think you're right. I think they can play with anybody right now. And I think we're going to get Clint back, maybe Thursday for the game against the Orlando, or maybe right after that, sometime soon. I think he's going to be back into the rotation again. So that'll help. And I really do. I think they feel good about where they are right now.
I'm excited. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yes, sir. Number 1 overall pick, Zachary Risacher, has become the first teenager in NBA history to have multiple games with 30-plus points and 0 turnovers. Steve, speak a little bit to how you've seen him grow from the beginning of the season until now.
Well, it's been amazing to watch him, Jordan, because he's, he started out, he's 19, like you say. And to be 19 and go into pro basketball is one thing, NBA, but to come to a whole new country at 19, and have to be thrown into a whole different culture and just the way everything is, he's really adapted so nicely. I run into him a few times in the hotels, like in the elevator or, in the lobby or whatever. And he's always like, good morning, sir. Hello, sir. Just a great kid. And to think that he's 19 and doing the things that he does. You can tell when you watch him, he knows how to play. He's been playing with grown men for the last 2 or 3 years in Europe, which, it brings us to, why are all the European players becoming so prominent in the NBA? I think it's because they play so early. They play at 15, 16 years old against, adult men. And I think they really learn a lot through that. And he's been in some big games over there too already.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for everyone who's listening to SportsVisions 92.1 FM right now as we go through Around the ATL for our special guest, Steve Holman, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Steve, the Hawks, since 1996, have only drafted 3 centers 7 feet or taller: Priest Lauderdale, Keith Benson, and Eddie Tavares. Okay. Do you think the Atlanta Hawks will finally get a 7-foot-plus center with size and skill for Trae to play with a little bit of a taste of what could be with the little bit of time that him and Wemby were on the floor? Because, because of the new format, they only played like 3 seconds, right? But do you think the Hawks will ever get to that point where we could have a 7-foot center with the league as it is, with a lot of 7-foot centers out there right now?
I think they'd love to have one. I think, and Mo Gay's pretty good. I mean, he's got a lot of offense in him too. I mean, he's a guy that Trae could play a lot with too. But I think Risacher is going to be a big part of of Trae's future. I think Risacher is going to be the beneficiary of a lot of those alley-oops and dunks, and I think it's going to be great to watch. And just to watch Trae the other night, that All-Star game with those highlights he did, he had the nutmeg, he had the whole thing going the other night. I mean, they've got to be embarrassed by not having him in there to begin with, because he was probably the biggest part of that show the other night. I thought, the stuff he did. And he made some great passes like he's been doing all year. I think he had 8 assists or something in just the short time that he was in the game. So I think, yes, I mean, they would love to have that 7-foot center that can do that kind of stuff. But I think Okongwu at his size is pretty good too, as far as, playing with Trae. And when Trae and, like I say, when Trae and Risacher really start to click, and they're starting to now, you can see that they've really started to pick up on each other and know what each other's going to do. So I think it's going to be a fun time.
I'm anticipating within the next couple of years we get that, because I'm just looking at the pieces. And before Jordan goes into his next question, that actually alludes into my next question. So Jordan, you go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Well, on a somber note, to change direction just a little bit, the great Dikembe Mutombo is unfortunately no longer with us, but his legacy certainly lives on. I have this DK55 pin on right here that someone gave me that attended the memorial service, in fact. Steve, could you just speak a little bit to the type of person Dikembe was and what your relationship was with Dikembe?
Well, he was great. I mean, he was so much fun to be around when he played, and even after he's played, every time he would come, I could hear him down the hallway. Oh, voice! He would yell voice down the hallway. I'd hear him all the way down the hall. But it was, and that memorial service was really special. The Friday night, the viewing, and then the Saturday the funeral. It was terrific. I mean, who could bring out former President Bill Clinton was the lead speaker at the memorial service, and you had people like Cindy McCain speaking there. The commissioner was there, and it was just it was a who's who of the NBA and basketball. Dr. J and everybody turned out, and that just tells you a lot about Dikembe. But what a great guy he was to be around, and we all know what a great player he was, and those teams that he was on with Mookie and Dikembe and and Smitty, those were great teams. But it was like when Dominique played, we kept running into either the bad boys of Detroit, or we would run into Larry Bird and Robert Parrish and McHale. And then in the later years with Smitty and Dikembe and Mookie, we would run into that guy named Jordan. We'd run into him in the early 90s. So we had some great teams there, and Dikembe was such a big part of it. And, he was really our first big free agent signing. Pete Babcock signed him because they had a relationship in Denver, and Pete was able to bring him in here. And that was our really first big, everybody knows about the Joe Johnson signing being the first big money. But before that, Dikembe was the big money signee that we got in, what was it, 99 or so, right at 97, somewhere in that range. I forget a lot of the dates now, but it was a while ago. We know that.
Yes, sir.
And Steve, you actually kind of ran into what I was going to mention, because we've had some instances in Hawks history where we've had a move that changed the trajectory of the team a little bit compared to the other teams that we've had, compared to the teams that were already out there. So let me ask you this. I don't know if you can answer this question, Steve, okay? But from the outside looking in, we're good. From the outside looking in, and I'm speaking also as a season ticket holder as well.
Right.
I know. Okay. Since 2018, it doesn't seem like sometimes that the Hawks have made the effort to build a championship team. And overall, since the 80s, going back to Dominique's teams and all the way up, we only have 2 appearances in the Eastern Conference Finals. What has to happen for our Hawks organization to show the fans that are supporting them, no matter what, that championship is the main goal, that winning is the most important thing in Atlanta. What do you think?
They've been working to that. I mean, and really, Tony has been he's been big on that. He'll be willing to spend the money when we get to that point. And I think this year we were close to that too. But all these injuries have been. I've never seen anything like this with the injuries that not only that we've had, but other teams around the league. I mean, look at New Orleans. All the injuries they've had all year. I mean, they have had one thing after another. We've had one thing after another, and it's just bad luck. I mean, look at last year. The Celtics. They went through virtually unscathed all year long, and they won a championship. I mean, that's part of the key to it. I mean, when we played Milwaukee a few years ago in the Eastern Finals, I think we would have made it to the finals. If Trae didn't step on that referee's foot. I mean, we were in pretty good control of that series, and Giannis was not 100%. So I think we could have made it then. But you know what that is. What could have, should have, and all that. But I think they're working towards that. I think we're getting right there now. We've got a young core. I mean, this team's young that we have right now, and kind of special. And when you look at every night, the way that the bench is outscoring the other teams, I think we're as deep as anybody right now. And one of the reasons I think DeAndre had the kind of season that he had with us was that he was coming off the bench. And, a lot of guys love that because they're playing against the second unit of the other team. So it becomes a lot easier. I mean, and somebody who's kind of finding that out right now is Onyeka. It's not quite as easy when you're going up against the starting center. Although he's had some really big games, and he's getting better every night too. I mean, he's to the point where they decided they could put him into that starting lineup. But it's just so much easier when guys play against the second unit. So that's why our second unit, I think, has a pretty big advantage right now.
And the reason I mention that is because we have the core to really make a push, and I want to see them finish it out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking at long term, because we've had some pretty good teams, as you mentioned, but we really didn't finish it out. And so that's why I'm just hoping that this is going to be the time we finish it out.
Right.
Steve,
well, at 88, I hate to go back to the 88 again, but if we had won that game 7, which we lost by 2 points or something up there in Boston, or if we had won game 6 here, Dominique swears up and down that we would have won the championship that year. I'm not going to argue with him about it either, because I think that by 88, the Lakers were kind of on the down. It was right before Detroit started to make their big, championship push. So I think we were right there. I think if we had won that 88, we won that game 5 and then came back. If we had just won the game 6, but as fate would have it, Cliff Livingston stepped in front of that ball. It was supposed to go to Dominique, and the rest is history. We know that left-handed shot that went through the lane. And
all the memories, Steve, I swear. Well, Steve, I want to say thank you again for just taking a brief time out. And as I mentioned, this is our first interview on our new network, which is SportsVisions 92.1 FM. So we appreciate you coming in on board for us. Jordan, make sure you let him know how much we appreciate him as well.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's always great to talk to you, sir. For my money, you are the GOAT of radio broadcasters, sir.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's always great to see you guys when you come around Section 118 when I'm, broadcasting there, and our other fans that are coming to the games. Come on by, say hello. We love to see everybody.
Yes, sir. I'll be stopping by to see you soon, Steve.
All right, that's a warning. Thank you, Jordan.
Take care, Steve.
Thanks.
Oh man, that was. Hold on. That was our man Steve Holman, long time friend of Around the ATL. And again, thanks so much for him being on the show on our broadcast of SportsVisions 92.1 FM. That being said, we're going to try to see if we can pull this off on a transition note. Let's see if we can do this real quick here, because we have to get to our second half of the show. So don't go anywhere. Those listening on the TuneIn app on 92.1 FM SportsVisions. This is Around the ATL. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Around the ATL with Chris and Jordan. We'll be right back with more Atlanta sports talk.
are back. What's going on, everyone? This is Chris on Around the ATL on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. We just had Steve Holman on the show talking Atlanta Hawks basketball. Very exciting times this season with Trae Young being one of the best in the league. We're going to find out what we can do this season to get into the playoffs and see if we can make a run at that Eastern Conference Finals. So, that being said, Jordan, let's talk some College Park Skyhawks real quick. Go ahead.
All right. First of all, I listen to SportsVisions 92.1 FM. As far as the College Park Skyhawks go, they've had a very good season. We've seen one of our second-round draft picks, Nikola Duricic, really come on here lately with the College Park Skyhawks. And he's hit career highs recently in scoring as well as assists. And he's really showing that he could be a potential contributor for the Hawks in the near future, sir.
All right. So let's talk some Atlanta Vibe for a moment. And with the Vibe, last week, they had some tough losses, but they had a big 5-set win this time over the Indy Ignite 3-2. Leah Emmon again shows why she was the last year's MVP, leading the team with 29 points. She also had 2 aces. But I also want to mention Morgan Hintz, who had 22 digs and 5 assists on her own, showing why she is one of the 4 ladies named to the All-Star match that I mentioned last week. Currently, they're 6-5 and in 4th place. And if you haven't been to a game still, make sure you get tickets at Gas South Arena on the Atlanta Vibe website. And also, don't forget, you can watch all of their games on the Pro Volleyball Federation YouTube page, Real Pro VB. The Columbus RiverDragons, they lost not too long ago to the Athens Rock Lobsters, but they've gone 2-1 since then. They actually had a home-and-home against the Binghamton Bears. They won 3-1 and 4-1. They're having a great season so far, 19-10 and 3rd in their conference. So make sure you get to the Columbus Civic Center website for the Columbus RiverDragons and get your tickets as well. I do have a quick announcement. Let's see if I got time. I do. So Columbus Storm is in Columbus, Georgia, and they're a semi-pro football team. They've been playing for 5 seasons, but last year, guess what? They won their conference and the national championship for the first time. So this year, they're looking to defend. Their first game is going to be February 22nd at Garrett Harrison Stadium. Tickets are $12 and kids 10 and under are free. So if you live in Columbus, Phoenix City, or even if you're in Atlanta and you want a little football, you need to drive down and watch the Columbus Storm play this season. Oh, by the way, also, announcement. Y'all know what this is. I can't play the sounder right now, but we'll do it next week. Braves season has started, guys. The Braves baseball is back. They're finally getting to play some spring training games. Their first one, I believe, is Saturday, Jordan, against the Minnesota Twins. And then right after that, they play Tampa Bay Rays. So it's exciting to get back to talking Braves again. Acuna is back. The whole game is back. I've seen some Kendrick Lamar videos with the guys lately. That's pretty cool. So excited for them. Next up, let's talk some high school basketball. Actually, Jordan, you want to start with the Atlanta side of things?
Yes, sir. Lanier of Gwinnett County beat number 1 ranked Milton 62-56 in the Region 7 5A semifinals, then lost in the final to number 4 Gainesville 59-53. They were just 11-14 in the regular season, so them reaching the finals was a major surprise. Salem High of Conyers, a 9-15 team in the regular season, also shocked people by knocking off 3rd-ranked Columbia and number 6 South Atlanta to win the Region 6 2A tournament. The region title was the first in school history. In Class A Division I, County's Mont Par and Christian, a 12-13 regular season team, defeated 3 top 10s, Walker, Mount Bethel Christian, and St. Francis, to win Region 5. In Region 3A, Greater Atlanta Christian won 66-64 over previously unbeaten Pickens in the Region 6 finals. Pickens out of Jasper enters the playoffs at 27-1. And also there's a new number 1 team this week. Woodward Academy beat number 3 Tri-Cities 87-80 in the Region 4 final Saturday, sir.
For 2A playoffs in Columbus, Georgia, now as of the time of this recording, they haven't played yet, but Carver's going to be playing Rutland at home. Number 1 Carver, that is, Carver Tigers, Number 24, Shaw is going to play Crisp County on the road. Number 8, Spencer will play Thorough at home. And number 23, Kendrick is going to get to play South Atlanta also on the road. UGA, let's go real quick here. Actually, I should have took that off. UGA, they're falling in the standings. They've lost 3 in a row, unfortunately. We're talking college basketball right now. They're 16-10 overall, but with that loss to Missouri, 87-74, guess who they get to play next? The number 1 team, Auburn Tigers. Not looking too good. Right now, them making the tournament is going to be tough unless they win the SEC tournament, which is not likely. So that's not looking good for the team right now. And unfortunately, that's going to be the show for today as we get ready to wrap it up, everyone. Again, thanks to Steve Holman for coming in on a busy schedule, All-Star weekend and everything. But again, Steve has been a long time friend of the show here on Around the ATL. And again, he was our first guest on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. So if you're listening or watching on the live stream on the IMTM Worldwide YouTube channel, you're listening from Atlanta or Columbus, Georgia, Texas, Australia, London, Africa, wherever, make sure you tell them about Around the ATL here on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. And you can listen on the TuneIn app. Don't forget that, please. Don't forget also our sponsors, Southern Classic Transportation. Make sure you call Dennis at 404-291-0150 or visit southernclassiclimo.com. And of course, IMTM Worldwide Images.com is our other sponsor. If you need photos for whatever reason, make sure you reach out to them and make sure you let both of them know that Around the ATL sent you. Jordan, any final words, sir?
Yes, sir. Quick shout out to Creekside girls basketball team of South Fulton. They just completed an undefeated regular season, so congratulations to them. Big shout out to the GOAT, the real voice of the Atlanta Hawks, Steve Holman, for providing his insights and his humor as always. We thank Steve so much, and we just can never talk to Steve enough when it comes to talking Atlanta Hawks basketball. Thanks once again to everybody for listening to us on SportsVisions 92.1. And last but not, I want to give a shout out to my mom who's recovering from cancer. Love you, Mom. And last but not least, I want to thank God for giving me this breath that I breathe to talk about these Atlanta and these Georgia sports that I love. Peace up. A-Town down.
Don't forget to tune in every Thursday night at 7 on SportsVisions 92.1 FM in Columbus and on the TuneIn app. And make sure you watch the live stream of the show on the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. Until next week, always be watching, always be listening Around the ATL. Y'all take care.
Dribble, pass.